Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new installment of the Mike is Outside Research Review series. I am super excited to dive into this explainer with you today. We're actually taking a little step back from the trail itself to look at the blueprints. Specifically, we're unpacking this incredibly eye-opening scoping review that was recently published in the World Leisure Journal all about national park accessibility. But, as always on Mike is Outside, our goal isn't just to sit around and talk theory. We really want to know what this research means in the real world, that dirt under your boots practical application.
So right off the bat, this research forces us to ask a pretty fundamental question. Is the great outdoors actually open to everyone? I mean, we all kind of carry this universal expectation, right? That nature's benefits, the fresh air, the physical challenge, the restorative calm, that it's all just out there waiting for us. But the hard reality is that millions of people are physically or logistically blocked from even reaching the trailhead, let alone actually navigating the path.
To really understand the scale of what's at stake here, just look at this number, 8 billion. That is the estimated number of visitors that the world's protected natural areas receive every single year. People are flocking to these spaces looking for profound physical and mental health benefits, educational growth, and, just pure leisure. It's this massive global movement of humanity trying to return to nature.
Okay, now I want you to contrast that massive scale with this shockingly low number, 44. Out of all the academic literature in the world, researchers searching across 18 major databases found only 44 academic sources that actually met their criteria for examining disability access in these protected spaces. 8 billion visitors, yet only 44 core academic papers looking at how to make these spaces accessible for people with disabilities. That contrast is just staggering.
But hey, this explainer isn't just about complaining about a lack of papers, right? It's about taking the data we do have and translating it into real-world implications. The researchers set out to scope the literature to figure out exactly what acts as a barrier keeping people out, and, conversely, what acts as a facilitator helping people get in. Let's look at the practical reality of what they found.
Let's move into Section 1, Real-World Roadblocks. What is actually keeping people out?
The most immediate barriers documented in the research are, physical. It's exactly what you'd probably picture. Steep slopes on routes and trails, or campsites with fire grills that aren't universally designed. But I want to pause on that last point for a second. Public washrooms. Over a third of the sources identified washrooms as a profound site of exclusion. It really highlights a critical real-world implication here. A totally mundane feature like an inaccessible washroom acts as an absolute roadblock to experiencing a spectacular wilderness setting. You can't use the facilities, you can't visit the park, period.
But the roadblocks aren't just physical. While poor surface quality and a lack of handrails on, say, shuttle buses in places like Brazil's Iguaçu National Park present immediate hurdles, information and logistical barriers are equally exclusionary. High travel costs are a massive hurdle, especially when you note that folks with disabilities often face higher poverty rates. And furthermore, simply not having pre-visit planning guides is a total deal breaker. Think about it. If a potential visitor doesn't know what accessibility features exist before they even leave home, that unknown alone is enough to stop a trip entirely.
All right, let's flip the script. Section 2, Practical Solutions That Work. How are we translating this research into actionable facilitators?
So, what is actually working right now? Let's start with solving that information barrier we just talked about. Check out this quote from a web portal called Sydney for All, evaluating the Sydney Harbour National Park. It brilliantly illustrates the solution. Instead of just saying, oh, this trail is accessible, they provide rich, multi-sensory pre-visit information. They literally describe the salty air, the tactile sandstone outcrops. By providing these detailed sensory-based expectations online, park managers completely remove the information barrier and proactively welcome visitors before they even arrive.
Another real-world facilitator they found in the literature is structured programming. The research highlighted projects like one over in Killarney National Park in Ireland that successfully helped young adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities explore the wild. And the secret sauce: structure. Step 1, awaken enthusiasm. Step 2, focus attention. Step 3, provide hands-on activity. It really proves that accessibility isn't just about, paving a trail. It's about how the outdoor experience itself is organized and guided.
But okay, what happens when the natural environment is literally a subterranean cave system or a deep underwater reef? Well, the researchers found some surprising, concrete examples of mediated experiences. In Italy's Porto Cesario Marine Protected Area, they actually created virtual scuba diving exhibitions for tourists who couldn't physically dive. In the US, they developed immersive virtual simulations of the Mammoth Cave to ensure students with complex mobility disabilities could participate in fieldwork. It's such a cool concept. If the visitor can't safely navigate the wild, we use technology to bring the wild to the visitor.
And sometimes, the ultimate facilitator is just pure human dedication. The review shared this absolutely incredible anecdote of a winter camp for youth with severe epidermolysis bullosa, which is a very painful skin condition. It required 2 to 3 medical volunteers per camper, spending up to 3 hours every single morning just doing bandage changes. But because of that intense, dedicated, real-world medical facilitation, those kids were able to go whitewater rafting and skiing. It just shows that with the right support, even extreme outdoor adventures can be made accessible.
Which brings us to Section 3, the invisible visitors. Who is still missing from the research?
This part leads to a pretty sobering realization. During the COVID-19 pandemic, researchers noted a profound shift in perspective. As this quote perfectly captures, global lockdowns forced non-disabled people to temporarily experience what it's like to have external forces dictate where you can and cannot go. For a brief moment, the whole world understood confinement. But for the homebound disability community, that isn't just some temporary pandemic measure, it is a permanent reality.
And yet, when the researchers looked at those 44 academic sources, they found massive blind spots. Despite our global push for inclusion, entire groups were just largely ignored. I mean, where's the research on park access for those with communicative disabilities, like aphasia, or immunological conditions? What about hidden disabilities like chronic fatigue syndrome, or folks who are deaf-blind? And most glaringly, what about homebound individuals? How are our public parks agencies distributing the benefits of nature to people who literally cannot leave their houses? The academic literature right now is just completely silent on this.
So, the absolutely crucial point I want to leave you with is this. Are we treating millions of people as invisible amidst our efforts to open up the wild? While we are making some great strides with paved trails and virtual scuba diving, this review serves as a massive, powerful call to